Quantum Manifestation Explained: Why It Works When You Stop Trying. Quantum manifestation feels effortless because it doesn't respond to struggle, it responds to alignment. Most of us were conditioned to believe that life only moves when we push it, but the quantum field does not react to pressure, it reacts to precision. When your inner world is aligned, reality reorganizes without strain. Effort belongs to the physical plane, alignment belongs to the energetic one, and when you master alignment, what once felt impossible begins to unfold with surprising ease. We were taught that effort equals worth and struggle equals success. From childhood, we absorb the message that hard work proves value. We see praise attached to exhaustion, admiration tied to sacrifice. Over time, struggle becomes a badge of honor. It shapes how we define achievement, love, and even healing. Without realizing it, we internalize the belief that if something comes easily, it must lack depth or legitimacy. That conditioning quietly governs how we approach manifestation. So from an early age, we prepare ourselves to fight for everything. Instead of learning how to receive, we learn how to defend and compete. We brace ourselves for resistance before it even appears. This creates a subtle tension in the body and mind, a constant readiness for battle. Over time, striving becomes our default setting. Even when opportunities flow toward us, we tense up, expecting difficulty. That habitual bracing interferes with the natural rhythm of alignment. But the quantum field operates by an entirely different set of laws. In the quantum world, outcomes are influenced by frequency, observation, and coherence, rather than brute force. Energy organizes itself around resonance. The field does not measure your sweat or count your sacrifices. It reflects the signal you emit. This shift in understanding changes everything. Manifestation becomes less about pushing reality into place and more about tuning yourself into harmony with the reality you prefer. It doesn't require force, it requires coherence. Coherence means your thoughts, emotions, and expectations are synchronized. There is no internal contradiction pulling in opposite directions. When you are coherent, your energy becomes focused and amplified. It is similar to multiple waves aligning to create a stronger surge. The field responds clearly because your signal is clear. Coherence is not intensity, it is harmony. And harmony carries far more power than force ever could. The paradox is this: the easier something is, the more the ego resists it. The ego has learned to equate struggle with significance. If something feels light and natural, it questions its validity. Ease challenges long-held beliefs about earning and deserving. So when life begins to flow, the ego often interrupts, looking for flaws or hidden costs. This resistance does not mean the path is wrong. It means your conditioning is being confronted by a higher truth. Because the ego was trained to prove its value through difficulty. For years, you were rewarded for pushing through exhaustion and overcoming hardship. That narrative shaped your identity. Difficulty became a measure of importance. So when manifestation asks you to relax into trust, it feels unfamiliar. The ego fears losing its role as the struggler, the fighter, the achiever. Yet your worth never depended on strain. It has always existed independently of effort. If it's easy, the mind assumes it must not be real. The mind searches for complexity because complexity feels safe and familiar. A smooth path can seem suspicious, almost undeserved. This automatic skepticism creates subtle resistance. You begin analyzing, overthinking, questioning what felt natural moments before. In doing so, you interrupt the flow. Ease does not mean superficial. Sometimes the most profound shifts happen quietly, without drama or friction. So when manifestation works through alignment, we overcomplicate it. Instead of trusting a clear desire, we add layers of strategy and repetition. We build elaborate routines, believing more effort equals more power. But often these additions come from doubt, not clarity. Alignment is simple. It is a stable internal agreement. When you pile methods on top of insecurity, you dilute the signal. Simplicity, when grounded in certainty, is far more effective. We turn resonance into routines and energy into effort. Resonance is a natural state of matching frequency. It does not need constant maintenance, yet we often convert it into structured tasks, believing consistency must look like labor. Energy then feels heavy rather than fluid. True alignment feels spacious. It moves with rhythm instead of rigidity. When you release unnecessary structure, you allow the original resonance to expand naturally. But the universe isn't waiting for your checklist. Reality does not require proof of how many times you visualized or affirmed. The field responds to the quality of your signal, not the quantity of your actions. When your vibration stabilizes in certainty, the request is already registered. Overchecking and overdoing often signal doubt. Trust simplifies the process. Once clarity is established, allow it to stand without constant adjustment. It's responding to your vibration. Vibration is the emotional and mental frequency you consistently emit. It is shaped by belief, expectation, and internal state. The quantum field mirrors that frequency back as experience. Words alone carry little weight without matching emotion. When you feel grounded, certain, and open, your signal becomes coherent. The outer world begins organizing around that inner consistency. Desire alone doesn't activate the field. Wanting can sometimes amplify absence. When desire is charged with urgency or lack, it communicates incompleteness. The field mirrors that state by reflecting more longing. Activation happens when desire shifts into embodied knowing. When you feel internally complete and aligned, the frequency changes. It becomes magnetic rather than grasping. The difference lies in emotional tone, not intensity. Knowing does. Knowing is calm and steady. It does not shout. It rests quietly beneath the surface. This state carries certainty without tension. When you know something is yours energetically, your body softens. Your nervous system relaxes. That stability strengthens your signal. The field responds more rapidly to certainty than to desperation. Knowing creates alignment without struggle. The moment you believe something must be hard, resistance is created. Expectations shape experience. If you assume difficulty, your body prepares for conflict. Muscles tighten, thoughts speed up, doubt increases. That internal tension distorts your vibrational signal. Resistance is not punishment, it is feedback. The belief in hardship generates energetic friction. Release the assumption, and you remove the barrier. Ease becomes possible the moment resistance dissolves. The universe isn't testing your strength. Many people interpret delays as trials meant to prove endurance, but the field does not evaluate you, it reflects you. Challenges often reveal areas of misalignment rather than measure resilience. When you shift from proving yourself to aligning yourself, the narrative changes. Life becomes less about passing tests and more about refining coherence. It's matching your frequency. Just as tuning forks resonate together when set to the same pitch, your experiences align with your internal frequency. You do not attract randomly, you resonate. This understanding removes blame and replaces it with responsibility. Adjust the internal pitch, and the external response changes accordingly. Frequency precedes form. Fragmented thoughts create a fragmented signal. When you think one thing, feel another, and expect a third, your energy disperses. Mixed messages weaken coherence. The field cannot reflect clarity if none is present. Simplifying your inner dialogue strengthens the signal. Agreement within creates agreement without. And a fragmented signal cannot collapse a clear reality. In quantum terms, clarity collapses potential into form, but collapse requires precision. When your signal fluctuates between belief and doubt, the potential remains unstable. Stability sharpens the outcome. Coherence is the bridge between possibility and physical expression. In quantum mechanics, this is called coherence. Coherence describes particles moving in synchronized phases, amplifying their collective effect. Applied to consciousness, it means internal unity. The more unified your system, the stronger your influence on outcomes. Science and spirituality converge here in shared principle. Coherence is when everything moves in harmony. Harmony is not something you force into existence. It is what naturally emerges when resistance fades. In your inner world, harmony means your thoughts support your emotions support your actions, and your actions reflect your beliefs. There is no inner argument, no silent contradiction. When everything moves in the same direction, energy amplifies. That amplification is what makes manifestation feel smooth, steady, and powerful rather than chaotic or delayed. Your consciousness works the same way. Your consciousness is not separate from the quantum field. It is participating in it constantly. Every belief you hold, every emotional pattern you repeat, every expectation you normalize becomes part of your energetic broadcast. When your consciousness is scattered, the broadcast is weak. When it is unified, it becomes precise and influential. The field mirrors that precision back to you as experiences that feel aligned, timely, and almost effortless. When thought, emotion, and action align, effort becomes unnecessary. Most exhaustion comes from internal conflict. You think positively but feel doubtful. You act confidently but expect failure. That split drains energy. Alignment removes that drain. When your thoughts, emotions, and actions point in the same direction, you stop wasting momentum. Decisions become clearer. Opportunities appear more naturally. You move with intention instead of strain. The work you do feels lighter because it is supported by coherence rather than undermined by doubt. This isn't about doing nothing. Alignment is not avoidance. It does not mean sitting back and hoping life rearranges itself. It means acting from stability instead of panic. When you are grounded, your actions are deliberate and efficient. You take steps because they feel aligned, not because you fear missing out. There is movement, but it carries calm certainty. That difference transforms action from something reactive into something deeply intentional and effective. It's about aligning before acting. Before you send the message, make the call, or take the leap, pause. Check your internal state. Are you acting from fear, urgency, or comparison? Or are you acting from clarity and self-trust? Alignment before action ensures your step is supported by coherence. One aligned decision can shift your trajectory more powerfully than many rushed ones. Preparation in the quantum sense is energetic, not strategic. You don't attract what you chase. Chasing implies separation. It reinforces the idea that what you want exists outside of you and must be pursued aggressively. That energetic posture communicates lack. The harder you run, the more you signal that you do not yet have it. The field reflects that message faithfully, slowing down, stabilizing your identity, and releasing urgency closes the energetic gap that chasing keeps alive. You attract what you embody. Embodiment means integrating the qualities of your desired reality now. If you seek abundance, cultivate internal sufficiency. If you seek love, practice emotional openness. If you seek success, develop self-trust. When you embody the state, you shift your baseline frequency. The field responds to that shift by presenting matching experiences. Attraction becomes a byproduct of identity rather than a goal you struggle toward. Simplicity isn't passivity, it's precision. Precision emerges when distractions fall away. Instead of scattering your attention across countless techniques and worries, you focus on maintaining a clear internal state. That clarity sharpens your signal. It eliminates unnecessary effort. Simple does not mean small or weak, it means refined. A precise frequency carries farther and influences more than a chaotic one ever could. When you allow ease, the field responds immediately. Allowing ease communicates trust. Trust calms the nervous system and stabilizes your emotional state. In that calm, your frequency becomes consistent. Consistency strengthens coherence. The quantum field does not operate on struggle, it operates on resonance. When you drop resistance and settle into alignment, reality begins adjusting around you. Sometimes the shift feels subtle, sometimes rapid, but it is always tied to your internal stabilization. Comment, "I allow it to be easy," if you're ready to align instead of force. This statement is more than engagement. It is a conscious decision to release inherited beliefs about struggle. By choosing ease, you signal readiness to operate from coherence rather than conflict. You affirm that alignment is your new baseline, and when that becomes your default, manifestation stops feeling like a battle and starts feeling like a natural extension of who you already are.